Sana never planned to lie, but one small mistake got her hired by the most powerful man in the city. A man who hated lies more than anything. And the worst part? She was falling in love with him while hiding the one truth that could destroy everything. In the heart of New York City, where dreams were built on sleepless nights and broken hopes, Sana lived a life that never seemed to slow down. Every morning, before the sun even touched the skyscrapers, Sana was already awake. She wasn't chasing luxury. She wasn't chasing fame. She was just trying to survive. Her small apartment, tucked above a noisy bakery in Brooklyn, smelled like sugar and burnt coffee every morning. It wasn't much, but it was everything she had, and everything her family depended on. Just one more month, she whispered to herself as she counted the bills on her kitchen table. Rent, electricity, her father's medication. Her hands trembled. She was running out of time. Sana had always been a dreamer. She loved writing stories, romantic, hopeful, full of life. Stories where love fixed everything. But real life didn't work like that. Her father had been sick for over a year now. Ever since the accident, he couldn't work, and Sana had become everything. Daughter, provider, protector. She worked at her small grocery store, barely earning enough to survive. But now, even that wasn't enough. One morning, everything changed. Her older sister rushed into the apartment waving a paper in her hand. "Sana, you need to see this." Sana looked up, tired. "What is it?" "A job opening, a big one, marketing assistant at Westwood Media Group." Sana blinked. "That's way out of my league." "Just try," her sister insisted. "What do you have to lose?" Everything, Sana thought. But she nodded. That same day, Sana found herself standing in front of a towering glass building in downtown New York City. Her reflection stared back at her from the polished doors. Simple clothes, nervous eyes. She didn't belong here. Still, she walked in. The lobby was intimidating. Marble floors, sharp suits, people who looked like they owned the world. Sana approached the front desk. "I'm here for the interview," she said softly. The receptionist glanced at the list. "Name?" Sana hesitated, because the truth was, she wasn't supposed to be here. The interview was for someone else, a candidate her sister knew who couldn't make it. And in a moment of desperation, Sana made the worst decision of her life. She said the other girl's name. That one lie changed everything. John Westwood wasn't just powerful, he was untouchable. CEO of Westwood Media Group, cold, calculated, brilliant, and completely closed off. His office overlooked the entire city, yet he trusted no one inside it. Not after what happened. Years ago, someone he loved had betrayed him, lied to him, destroyed everything he believed in. Since then, John had one rule: no lies, no second chances. When Sana walked into the interview room, her heart nearly stopped. And then she saw him. John. Standing by the window, tall, sharp, intimidating. He turned slowly, his eyes locking onto hers. For a moment, the room went completely silent. "Sit," he said, his voice calm but distant. Sana obeyed, her hands clenched tightly in her lap. "Tell me why you deserve this job." Her mind went blank. She wasn't the person on the resume. She wasn't qualified. She wasn't supposed to be here. But then she thought of her father, and something inside her shifted. "I may not have the perfect background," she said, her voice shaking at first, then growing stronger. "But I work harder than anyone you'll ever meet. I don't give up, I don't walk away, and I don't waste opportunities." John studied her carefully. There was something different about her. Not polished, not fake, real. "Why marketing?" he asked. Sana swallowed. "Because I love storytelling, because I believe words can change people." But she couldn't say that, not as someone she wasn't. Still, her truth slipped through. Because I understand people, what they feel, what they need." John's expression shifted just slightly. That was the moment everything changed. "You're hired." Sana froze. "What?" "You start tomorrow." Her heart dropped because she didn't feel relief. She felt fear. Because now, the lie wasn't just a mistake. It was her new reality. The first few days were chaos. Sana struggled to keep up. Emails she didn't understand, meetings she wasn't prepared for, a world she didn't belong in. But she didn't quit. She couldn't. And then there was John, always watching, always distant, but somehow always noticing her. One late evening, Sana stayed behind, trying to fix a campaign proposal she completely messed up. Frustration built up in her chest. Tears blurred her vision. "I can't do this," she whispered. "You can." She froze. John stood behind her. "I saw your draft," he said. "It's bad." Her heart sank. "But," he continued, stepping closer, "your ideas aren't." That was the first time he didn't sound cold. "Try again," he said quietly. And for the first time in a long time, someone believed in her. Sana nodded, and in that moment, something dangerous began. Because she wasn't just lying to her boss anymore. She was slowly falling in love with him. Days turned into weeks, and somehow Sana was still there, still holding on to a job she was never meant to have, still living inside a lie that grew heavier with every passing day. But something else was growing too, something she never expected. It started with small things, a glance, a pause, a moment that lingered just a second too long. At the Westwood media office in New York City, people had learned to stay out of John Westwood's way. He didn't laugh, he didn't socialize, he didn't care. But with Sana, it was different. One morning, Sana rushed into the office, slightly late, her hair messy, her bag slipping off her shoulder. She froze when she saw John standing near her desk. Her heart skipped. "I'm sorry, traffic," she started nervously. "You're late," he said. She lowered her eyes. "It won't happen again." There was a pause. Then, "You didn't have breakfast, did you?" Sana blinked, confused. "What?" John placed a small paper bag on her desk. "I noticed yesterday, too." Inside was a warm croissant and coffee. Her throat tightened. "Thank you," she whispered. But he had already walked away. That was the first crack in his walls. From that day on, everything began to shift. They started working together more closely. Late nights in the office, brainstorming campaigns, arguing over ideas, and laughing without even realizing it. One evening, the city lights glowed outside the glass windows as rain softly tapped against them. "It's beautiful," Sana whispered. John stepped beside her. "I used to think so too." She looked at him. "Used to?" He didn't answer right away. Then, quietly, "Before I realized how empty it can be." For the first time, she saw it. Not the powerful CEO, not the cold man everyone feared, but someone lonely, broken in ways he never showed. "Maybe it's not the city," Sana said softly. "Maybe it's just who you're looking at it with." John turned to her. Their eyes met, and suddenly the world felt smaller, closer, dangerously close. That night, neither of them slept the same way again. It happened slowly. So slowly, neither of them realized when it started. Sana became more confident at work. Her ideas started shining. Her creativity, her real self, began to break through the lies she was hiding behind. And John noticed. Every detail, every effort, every small victory. "You're not who you pretend to be," he said one afternoon, watching her present a campaign idea. Sana's heart stopped. "What do you mean?" "You're better," he replied simply. That should have made her happy, but instead, it scared her. Because if he looked any deeper, he'd see the truth. Meanwhile, John was changing too. Without realizing it, he started staying longer at the office, even when he didn't need to. He started listening, not just hearing. And worst of all, he started trusting her. One weekend, they were forced to attend a company event together. A formal gala. Elegant, expensive, perfect. Sana felt completely out of place until John walked in. He stopped when he saw her. For a moment, he couldn't look away. Sana wore a simple black dress, nothing flashy, but on her it looked unforgettable. "You clean up well," he said quietly. She smiled nervously. "I was about to say the same." That night, they danced. At first, it was just for appearances, a CEO and his assistant, nothing more. But then, his hand tightened around hers. Her breath caught. Their steps slowed, and suddenly, it wasn't fake anymore. "You should be careful," John murmured. "Why?" she asked softly. "Because I don't trust easily." Sana's chest tightened. If only you knew, she thought. "But you trust me," she said, almost like a question. John looked at her. Long, deep, dangerous. "I'm starting to." That was the moment everything crossed the line. Because Sana knew, the deeper he trusted her, the more it would destroy him when the truth came out. Love didn't arrive loudly. It slipped in quietly, through shared silences, through stolen glances, through moments that felt too real to ignore. Sana was falling, hard. And John? He was already there, even if he didn't say it. But lies don't disappear. They wait, they grow, and eventually, they come for everything. One afternoon, everything started to unravel. A woman walked into the office, confident, sharp, familiar. She walked straight to Sana's desk. "Hi," she said, smiling slightly. "I think you have something that belongs to me." Sana's heart dropped because she recognized her. The real candidate, the one whose identity she had taken. "I didn't expect to see you here," the woman continued, "working under my name." The world around Sana blurred. "No, please, I can explain." "Can you?" the woman cut in. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was dangerous. And behind them, a door opened. John stepped out of his office. His eyes moved between them, sensing something was wrong. "What's going on?" he asked. Sana couldn't breathe. This was it, the moment she had been running from. The truth was no longer a secret, and in a few seconds, everything would break. The office fell into a heavy, suffocating silence. No one moved. No one spoke. John's eyes shifted between Sana and the woman standing in front of her. Cold, sharp, searching. "What did she mean?" he asked quietly. Sana's heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear her own thoughts. This was it. No more hiding, no more pretending. Her voice trembled. "I can explain." The other woman let out a soft, almost amused breath. "Go ahead," she said. "I'd love to hear this." Sana closed her eyes for a second. Then she looked at John. Not her boss, not the CEO, but the man she had fallen in love with. "I'm not the person you think I am." The words hit the air like a storm. John didn't react. Not yet. "The day I came here, I took someone else's place," Sana continued, her voice breaking. "I used her name. I lied just to get the job." Silence. Heavy, crushing silence. John's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes shattered. "Why?" he asked. Just one word, but it carried everything. Sana's hands trembled. "My father, he's sick. I needed the money. I didn't have a choice." "You always have a choice," John said, his voice now colder than ever. Tears filled Sana's eyes. "I never meant to hurt you." "Hurt you?" he cut in sharply. Now his voice rose. Now the emotion broke through. "You lied to me every single day." Each word felt like a knife. "Do you even understand what that means?" he continued, stepping closer. "Or was this just another story to you?" Sana shook her head desperately. "No, it wasn't like that. Stop." One word, and she froze, because this time he didn't look at her the same way. There was no warmth, no softness, only betrayal. "I trusted you," John said quietly, "and you knew how much that cost me." Sana's tears fell freely now. "I fell in love with you." For a moment, everything stopped, because those words were real, the only truth she had left. But John, he just looked at her. Empty. "That doesn't change what you did." And just like that, everything ended. "Pack your things," he said coldly. "You're done here." Sana felt like the ground disappeared beneath her feet. "John, please!" But he had already turned away, and that was the moment she realized she hadn't just lost her job, she had lost him. Days passed, but for Sana, time didn't move. Her world had shrunk back into that small apartment in Brooklyn. The same walls, the same struggles, but now everything felt heavier. She didn't write anymore. She didn't smile. She didn't dream, because the one thing that had made her believe in something more was gone. Meanwhile, across the city in New York City, John stood in his office, exactly where everything had begun. But nothing felt the same. The silence was louder. The city looked colder. And no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't ignore it. Her absence. He threw himself into work. Meetings, deals, deadlines, anything to avoid thinking. But it didn't work. Because everywhere he looked, he saw her. At her desk, by the window, in every idea she had ever brought to life. And worst of all, in himself. Because somehow, she had changed him. One evening, his assistant placed a file on his desk, a campaign draft that Sana worked on before she left. John hesitated. Then, slowly, he opened it. Inside were her notes, messy handwriting, honest thoughts, real ideas, and at the very end, a small line written almost like a whisper. "People don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with truth." John's chest tightened. For the first time since she left, he felt it. Not anger, not betrayal, regret. Because deep down, he knew something he didn't want to admit. Yes, she lied, but everything else? Her effort, her laughter, her love? That was real. And maybe He had been too broken to see it. It was a quiet morning in New York City, the kind of morning where everything feels still before life begins again. Sana stood outside a small publishing office, a new opportunity, a new beginning. She took a deep breath. Maybe this was her second chance, but just as she reached for the door, a voice stopped her. Sana. Her heart froze. She knew that voice. Slowly, she turned. John stood there, not in a suit, not as a CEO, just as himself. "What are you doing here?" she whispered. "I came to fix something," he said. She shook her head slightly. "Some things can't be fixed." "Maybe," he said softly, "but some things are worth trying for." Silence stretched between them, heavy, emotional. "I was angry," John continued, "and I had every right to be." Sana nodded, tears already forming. "I know, but I was also afraid." That surprised her. "Afraid of what?" she asked quietly. "Afraid of trusting again," he admitted, "of believing someone could be real after everything I've been through." He stepped closer. "You lied," he said, "but you also showed me something I forgot existed." Sana's breath trembled. "Love," he finished. Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even know if I deserve it." John looked at her. This time, not in anger, not in pain, but with honesty. "Then let me decide that." A long pause. "I forgive you." The words were simple, but they carried everything. "And I'm not here as your boss," he added softly. "I'm here as someone who doesn't want to lose you again." Sana's heart felt like it might burst. "You won't," she whispered, and for the first time, there were no lies between them. Only truth, only love. John reached for her hand. She didn't pull away, because this time they were choosing each other. No secrets, no fear, just a new beginning. The end. Maybe this wasn't the end of their story. Maybe it was just the beginning of something real. Armos.